Hello, my name is Cedric, and along with my beautiful wife, Connie, we'll be hosting my brand new podcast, That's What I Said. I'm a retired Navy veteran that suffers from PTSD and anxiety, and we'll discuss how I cope with the mental illness through comedy and discussion. It's a podcast that will talk about everything from cryptocurrency to comedy. If we are worrying about the dollar going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's still a dollar, guess what? The value of that means absolutely nothing. Cryptocurrency in itself is the future of money. From spirituality to cannabis. To have cannabis on the Schedule 1 list is bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. It makes absolutely no sense. If it's a seed that can be planted and it has healing properties in it, why the hell is it in Schedule 1? Last time I checked, cocaine don't have a healing property in it. From interracial relationships, I don't have a problem with people talking about interracial relationships. People try to talk bad about my interracial relationship just to think that they can get under my skin. I mean, really, it don't bother me. I mean, let's not make, call a spade a spade. But if you have a problem with someone that's in love, it shouldn't matter the race of the person. It's a mental illness in our community. The problem is people want to put labels on it. Everybody wants to put color on everything. And as soon as you put color on it, it gets treated differently. The money gets treated funny. Because if it's dealing with Asians, guess what? It's going to take a longer process unless those leaders step up and get into the president's face or U.S. leaders' face and say, this is a problem in our community. Not leaving one topic unturned. If you want to hear real, authentic conversation, interviews, and comedy, please take time to listen to That's What I Said, because I said what I said.
Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. Listen to That's What I Said. Available on your favorite podcast platform.
That's What He Said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with Cedric Sanders. Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filters. This broadcast starts now.
What up?
What's good, everybody? Thanks for tapping in and tuning in with us for this week's episode, The Dreaded Rules, a school's battle over dreadlocks. Yeah, we're about to get into this topic.
Over locks. Just say locks. Don't. Goddamn. You've been with me for how long? We don't say dreadlocks. We call them locks. Locks. Locks.
Blah, 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 blah.
Anyway. Damn. Already starting.
Let's get this shit started already.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. What's good, y'all? It's Normal Tuesday episode. Y'all gonna see me wiping my forehead from time to time because the temperature went down, but not in my house. And for whatever reason, my computer is on. It's always been on this bullshit.
It's on something else. It'd be hot over here.
Man,
Studio B is hot.
This damn. I need to get a couple fans in here, but it's because of my video card. They put out a lot of heat. And I got fans from my computer, so my computer stay cool, but it still emanates a lot of heat. But anyway, peace, y'all. I hope y'all enjoying y'all evening. It's Tuesday, so you already know what time it is. That's What I Said podcast, live and direct, wherever you listen to podcasts, and view it, for that matter, if they have video. Or do they even do them live? Some people ain't got that damn talent. They always got to record their shit and edit it. I don't do that. And it's not because I ain't got the time. I just more comfortable doing them live. Now, I can do them recorded. Don't get it twisted.
Lord.
But Thanks. I appreciate you, sis. I appreciate you. So, tonight's topic, dreaded rules, school battle over Locs. So, I don't know if, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to like what's really been going on in this world we call America.
Right.
But the thing that's really going on, I mean, let's say it like this. There comes a time when you notice some shit's going on. You notice things that are going on. You notice it. You already know. Then it goes to the point where you're like, okay, what are they gonna do about it?
Right.
What is the plan? What's next? You know, what are they gonna do? Well, in this situation,
they going to court.
I mean,
that's real.
In this situation, they're going to court. I got to get off the mic. Get off the camera for a second. I got to grab something. Hold up. Okay. Anyway, so there's a situation in Texas. What part of Texas is that, babe? You failed.
I know. I'm sorry.
All this work.
I know. All this work.
Well, anyway, there's a black teen that has not even started school, has not even been able to do school, be in the school environment. Not a public school, of course. This is an independent school. Now, for those that don't know what an independent school is, it's in the same lane as private school. And for those that don't know what a private school is, what's good, Mr. Banks in the building. For those that don't know what a private school is, a private school almost mirrors, or I should say it like this. Independent schools almost mirror private schools, where private schools are pretty much their own thing. Private school is a school that, you know, does not receive funding from the state. Basically, correct. Public schools, that's how they get their funding, from the state.
Right.
Private schools don't receive their funds from the state, nor do independent schools. Now, the difference with private schools and independent schools is where private schools can be basically ran by a nonprofit, for-profit, religious, a church, whatever. You know, that's a nonprofit as well. Whereas these independent schools are run by a board of governors. Or trustees. It's almost like when you create a business or you create a nonprofit organization, and when you create that nonprofit, they want to know who's your board of directors, who's your board of governors, who's your voting members kind of thing.
Right,
it's the same thing. However, it's considered an independent school. Now, why is this important? That's why.
We hit the rabbit hole.
The bullshit meter is already up. I gotta hit the bullshit button already.
Uh-oh.
So,
oh my god!
All right.
Oh shoot!
So there's a black teen, and I have to label it this because unfortunately that's the labels that society wants to put on us: black, white, whatever. There's a black student that has locks in his hair, and he has been suspended from school since day one. He was given 2 weeks suspension, came back to the school after the 2 week suspension, and was suspended immediately upon returning back to the school. Reason being is because they say he is not following the dress code within the school. Now, the dress code has absolutely nothing to do with his education. However, being the fact that this school is independent, right, they have a certain guideline or a certain dress code that children or, teens are supposed to wear going into this school. Now, this particular school, you can't have ripped or frayed jeans. You can't wear basketball shorts. It's almost like business casual. You can wear jeans, but they have to be clean pressed jeans, nice shirts, whatever the case may be. Right. Whereas in public schools, pretty much, however your kid shows up, as long as they got, underwear, t-shirt and pants on and some tennis shoes and socks, they good. Private schools, most private schools, they have uniforms. Some do, some don't. They have uniforms. Whereas this independent school in particular, they have a dress code. One of their dress codes is you can't have locks in your hair.
But I don't think it specifically stated you can't have locks. I think it more so said that the hair cannot be pulled back and be longer than like your shoulders. Let me try to find the specific statement that is on CNN.
I don't give a fuck about CNN, what they got on there. I'm telling the truth. I'm sure they pulled the truth out, but how are you dictating the ethnic wear of your hair and the length of it? If it's pulled up and it's still not below your shoulders, it's still within guidelines. Hell, the military has hair guidelines to where you can't wear your hair. Women can only have a certain length of hair, and if it's longer, you got to put it in a bun, and there's certain military buns that you can put it in that's authorized. Men, your hair can't be longer than 2 inches in bulk, blah, 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 all this other bullshit. And we can't put our hair up in all these little fancy things. We can't wear dreadlocks. It's just...
So... That was during our time.
That was during our time, yeah. I'm sure men now can wear fucking dreads and shit now, which is
the
bullshit.
females are authorized to wear dreads.
Well, I'm sure they are. The females. What about the males? The males can't wear dreads? Discrimination. Bullshit.
I'm not certain.
This is the shit. This is the world we live in, but okay. So go ahead.
In regard to the dress code at this particular school, it's in the city of Mount Bellevue.
In Texas.
Says... Male students' hair must not extend below the top of a T-shirt collar or be gathered or worn in a style that would allow it to extend below the top of that T-shirt collar, below their eyebrows, or below their earlobes when it's let down. Like, they put very, very stringent, tight rules on how males can wear their hair in this independent school. If their hair is clean and done in a style that looks good on them, I don't see what the problem is.
That's a matter of opinion. Unfortunately, because
right,
and this is what a lot of excuse me, this is what a lot of people don't understand. When you decide to put your kid in an independent school or a private school, it's for a reason. It's and it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact of the better. I mean, okay, some of it is about the better education piece. A lot of it is because they don't want their kid in the public school environment due to all the bullshit that's been going on with public schools. And they know that they put their kid in a private school, they will not only learn, but they will be able to focus more on what's being taught to them. Whereas there's too many distractions in the public school. Not taking anything away from public school, because I think a lot of education can happen in public schools. Even if your family doesn't have the money to put you in a private school or independent school, if you have an independent school in your state. Mm-hmm. But I also think that knowing what you're getting yourself into by putting your kids in an independent school environment is something that you got to pay attention to, especially what's in black and white. And I'm sorry, and I hate this for this black team to be going through this, because the state of Texas literally just passed a law in May that eradicated this bullshit ass policy that this school has about how your hair, how you can wear your hair.
Right, exactly.
And basically gives you no restrictions on length. So the length should not matter. Why is the length? Is it a safety hazard? Are you teaching shop? Is it a fear that somebody's hair is going to get caught in some kind of, mechanical contraption? What is it?
Right.
because ethnically or culturally, you're putting these kids in a barrier, but then it gives the parents a reason to pay more attention to the policies that the school has and knowing what you're getting your kids into. But at the same time, if the school has elements that is going to put your child in a better position to make a decision on what they're going to do in life, right, there's always going to be, okay, we'll deal with this, but we're not going to deal with this kind of thing. So that school's off the map. And they want this kid to cut his hair.
Right.
And everybody's like, well, what's the problem? You should just cut his hair. It'll grow back. See, that's that programming bullshit that I don't like. Yeah. Some people
there's purpose behind why he's growing his hair.
No, some people just can't grow their hair out and they jealous of people that got long hair.
True.
And then some people are just like, well, we should just cut his hair so he can get his education. No, you should not. You should not take the quality of life from that child to attend school.
Because it shouldn't have no preference.
There should not be no law based off of how a child wears their hair, as long as it's washed and taken care of.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody wants to be with a kid that got lice in their hair. No, nobody wants that shit. But at the same time, if their hair is taken care of, what's the problem?
Exactly.
Dress code is something totally different. You can get on them about dress code. It's like you signed the policy. You know the code of conduct. You know what's going on here. You know what the policy is as far as how our kids supposed to wear clothes. But when it comes to hair, they're not in the military.
Right.
What does the hair got to do with their education? I'm just kind of lost by this whole process and why this is a thing. Yeah. Why do we have schools that are controlling what a child has to have on their body that naturally grows? For some, not so much for others, but for some. But you're controlling the length of it, how long it can be. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit ridiculous. I mean, when he showed up to school this past Monday to attend, they gave him the infraction in regard to his frayed jeans. And they told him, well, you have an option. You can go and change your clothes, but you also need to cut your hair. And because he opted out, they suspended him again. Like, that right there just, I don't know.
This is my thing.
Why did they give matter?
This is the thing. Why did they give the child an option as far as what he should do? He's a child. He is under the age of 18, which means what? They should have contacted his parents. They should have never had a conversation with him. They should have told him, you're being given this infraction because, you violated dress code because you got frayed pants on. Oh, by the way, your hair is out of regulations, quote unquote, and we need to talk to your family to let them know the reason why we're suspending you is because of your hair. They should have known that the first time. We're making a statement the second time. You're not going to suspend me twice because of my hair. I'm not cutting my fucking hair.
Yeah.
Hello, there's a new rule, or I should say a new law that was updated May of 2023 that went into effect this school year, which was September. Mm-hmm. And you mean to tell me my child is suspended because of something that the state
passed
a law on? Oh, that's right. You don't get funding from the state, so you don't think you have to pay attention to their laws when it comes to schools. You're still a school.
Right.
Just because you don't get funding from the state don't mean you don't have to follow the rules.
And I honestly believe that...
Bitch, what?
Whenever a policy or a law is placed into effect for that particular state or the entire United States, it should be followed.
Federal and state have always been separated. Let's get that out in the open.
It sucks.
Federal has its own laws that governs the United States. However, the president has given, or I should say the Constitution says, oh, you can have your own governors and the states can be governed how they seem fit. However, it has to be within respect and matrimony to the Constitution of the United States as well as your own state constitution but they can't deflect or promote whatever. It's just you have your own rules. However, this is the national law or federal law. This is the problem. The child is being discriminated against. I don't care how you look at it. You can stop listening to this podcast. You can say whatever comments you want to say negative about it. It's not going to hurt my feelings because I really don't give a fuck at the end of the day. This is my podcast and nobody else's. This is based off of my opinion, and the energy that I put off is an honest opinion based off of how I feel. Now, is that a disclaimer? No, that's just my opinion. As I said before, it's not a disclaimer. But everybody has choices. People have choices, whereas they can listen to what they want to listen to. They can apply for the job that they want to apply to. They can put their kids in a environment that is better, that's going to better suit them, or not. Or not.
Right, or not.
I don't know what the problem is, but at the end of the day, it makes absolutely no sense that we have to deal with this on the level that we're dealing with it.
Right, exactly.
Especially because of the fact that it's involving a child trying to be educated.
Right, exactly. I mean, it really shouldn't matter on the length of his hair. It really shouldn't matter the style of his hair. Why? I'm just trying to find out, why is that so bothersome for this particular school? Or is it in multiple independent schools in the state of Texas? Or is it in multiple schools all over the U.S.? Why is this such a hard issue or problem when exactly what Ced just said? The child is there to be educated, period.
Right. And I think it's I don't know, it goes without speaking. I think it's hurtful to not just the child, but to the parents, because the parents are actually, paying this tuition that they have to pay annually.
Exactly.
And that tuition on the average is what, $12,000 on average?
On average, yes.
So I'm just
between 12 and 15.
Yeah, I'm just utterly confused. Sorry, I'm in the background doing something for the podcast. Can you?
Yeah. So it's interesting dynamic for the state of Texas right now. So just for this current school year, there's over 2,000 private schools. 2,000. They serve over 330,000 children. Then, when you look at a public school, they've got over 9,179, to be specific, public schools. And they serve over 5 million. Public school, over 5 million served. And the craziness is that they said there is 6% of all K through 12 students are educated in a private school, compared to the national average of 10%. 6% of K through 12 students in Texas are educated in a private school. Let that number marinate, because they said the national average is 10%. That's a big number for Texas. Albeit Texas is a large state, don't get me wrong, but my gosh, for 6% of their K through 12 students to be serviced at a public school, and the national average is 10%. Whew, that math.
Well, that's you got to think about it too. The population, the actual population of Texas, and then the diversity and everything else. You know, and the amount of square footage space that they have. It's a lot. So it. I mean, I get it, but I think it's kind of worrisome to just to think that we've come to this point where we are now discriminating on what's real and what's not. Or I should say, not even just what's real and what's not. It's more so just what people are choosing to listen to or what they're putting their kids through instead of, I mean, because let's face it, there's lots of people out here that know that public school system is sketchy in certain spots, in certain states, certain cities, things of that nature. But they have to put their kids in an education system that's close to their home because of the nature of how the financial situation in this world is. Most people that have put their kids in the public school are coming from lower middle class, or even upper middle class, or even upper class. So it's just how the dynamic works and how people are listened to. I mean, subject to being programmed. You got to send your kid to school. So I'm going to send my kid to the nearest school, and this is the best school district, so I'm going to send them here, and blah, blah, blah. Whereas if we don't have a place to put our kids, then it's like they get bused somewhere, and they're going to get bused to the nearest school.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the school you want to put your kid in. So a lot of people will spend the money and put their kid in a private school because they're setting them up to go to college, because guess who's the college is going to be paid for. So if we're paying tuition for them to go to school to get educated, we're obviously going to pay them to go to college, or hopefully they're talented enough in the sport that they can actually just, go.
Yeah.
Get a scholarship or whatever the case may be. But we have gotten into this situation now where I think we need to stand up more, because now we're seeing how it's affecting our kids.
Yeah. And it's unjust, I believe. From my point of view, I believe this is unjust suspension on this child.
Right.
Absolutely unjust. Because he's not there for a damn popularity contest. He's not there for anything other than his education. Period.
Right.
And for them to continue to suspend him based upon a dress code policy that they have in place. However, that law just got implemented by the governor of Texas to go into effect September the 1st on the Crown Act. And if you've not heard of it, you need to go look it up and do your own due diligence and read through what the Crown Act actually does and how it affects and helps you as an individual with your hairstyles and your background, culture, ethnicity, and all that.
It's not just about you. It's not even you. It's every state is different. This is a state thing that came out in Texas. So for those that live in Texas and their kid is being suspended because of their dreadlocks, even currently to this day, yeah, there's a new law that was signed, the Crown Act. And make sure you look thoroughly through that to make sure the school is not violating that policy.
But there's also 22 other states that have signed a similar act in place.
So that in itself is telling you that this has become it was not even just more that it's more of a problem. It's something that people have noticed.
Right.
And said, this is trash. This don't make no sense. No, why are we suspending our kids because of the way they wear their hair?
Yep. All because of their hair.
It's like, if you don't know the cultural reasoning behind dreadlocks, then you need to educate yourself. I'm not saying that it's something that should be accepted. I'm saying it's something that should be accepted because it's a hairstyle.
Right.
I mean, nobody's saying shit about y'all funny ass people wearing these fucking mullets.
No, and those have been around for a long
And I'm
time.
sorry. That is a distraction to me. How is dreadlocks a distraction? How is dreadlocks a distraction? How is that something that people should be just making sure they pay more attention to? It's a black ethnic hairstyle. It's actually normal for black people to have their hair dreadlocked. Mm-hmm. It is not normal for black women to have their shit permed. It's not natural. It's a chemical alteration to your curl pattern, your natural curl pattern.
Right.
The same thing with men. I mean, you're putting chemicals. I mean, most men don't put chemicals in their hair. Some men do, but I mean, however you wear your hair short, you're gonna style it in such a way to where it looks presentable to you, what you like, not what's trending. What you like. There's certain things that are trending that may make that man more attractive for himself and presentable based off of how he dresses fashion-wise. That's his choice. Just like every other ethnicity has their way of combing and cutting their hair.
Right.
Why the fuck is black people so scrutinized? How would people would say it's extra? How the fuck is it extra?
Nope.
It's not natural. How is it not?
It's natural.
Tell me how the fuck is it not?
It's just braided.
It's not braided. It's not braided. Dreadlocks are not braided. They're not braided. They are not braided. You may get it styled in a braid.
Yes.
You may get the dreadlock styled in the braid, but the dreadlock itself is not braided. It is not braided. I'm growing dreadlocks right now. My hair is in a twisted curl. I mean, in a twisted, what do you call it? It's in a twisted, like cornrow, if you will. Thin cornrow, because I got, medium-sized locks. I don't have large ones. But I wanted it styled. I didn't want it to hang down, and I wanted it styled. I wanted to give, some oomph to my hairstyle, I guess.
Some oomph.
I don't know. I didn't want to be boring,
Some presentation.
Some presentation. I'm proud of my locks. I said, this is what I can do now because they're getting longer.
Right.
But I think the disparity that people are having is not understanding. And what do people do when they don't understand?
Do research.
No, when people don't understand, they assume. They don't do research. They don't ever do research. They pass their emotional judgment based off of something they don't know shit about. When you don't know shit about black people, the first thing you call them is a nigga. Or I don't like them. Why? What did they ever do to you? Well, I don't know. It's just, no, here you go creating some shit.
I was just about to say the natural answer or response to that is, I don't know.
You're always loud.
That's how I was raised.
That's how you were raised, or that's how you were taught.
True.
Let the truth be known. It ain't about, when you say, this is how I was raised, this is another form of people saying, this is the way I was taught, the way I was brought up. Mm-hmm. This is the way you was educated, the way you were programmed. There's people out there that say, don't trust white people. Don't trust blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Don't trust certain people that show you exactly who the fuck they are. It doesn't matter the color of their skin. Black people treat me the same way white people do. And guess what? Both of them call me niggas. I'm just not oppressed to sit there and focus more on a white person calling me a nigga than I am a black person. That's my difference. I'm not worried about it. It's like that the best you can do is call me a nigga. You don't even fucking know me. That's the best you can do. What black people that hurt you? I ain't done shit to you but beat you in the fucking game or whatever. beat you in a debate, had a conversation about this. You judging me based off of looks and conversation. Ain't nobody mad at you. You mad at me. For what? This is a direct trickle-down theory to the exact shit that's going on in this school system. If you don't educate yourself and you don't know, you're going to put a policy on it to not deal with it. So basically, when you don't deal with a certain problem that you have to put a policy on for, because that's exactly what this is focused on. It ain't focused on white kids. What white kid is going to grow his hair shoulder length and not put it up in a ponytail? Or just let it hang, curly. So basically, you're telling those kids that they can't do that because that's not presentable in your independent school.
Yeah, it's
because most parents would just say you can grow that when you turn 18. Why are you restricting these kids from growing their hair out?
Right.
It's their expression of life of what they want to do. You just don't want to let them grow it out because maybe your hair's thinning the fuck out and you can't grow your shit out. So you jealous that your kid can? You produced a little motherfucker. So what are you mad about? I'm confused.
So it's funny that you just brought up that statement because if my kids are listening anywhere to this podcast,
I'm sure they will.
They know that I did have an issue at one point in time with them growing out their hair, and I wanted it cut a certain style until I can't even remember what age they were. And I was like, you know what?
Age to where they can take care of it themselves.
It's your hair. If you want it in that fashion, you go right ahead and do it.
I'm gonna tell you.
But please don't come to me asking me to help you fix it or style it or whatever because I cannot.
Well, okay. This is the issue. Most parents got their kids' haircut because they weren't old enough to get it taken care of themselves. Most kids don't wash their ass when they're supposed to.
True facts.
So why the fuck would you think they're going to get their hair cut or comb it or whatever?
Yeah.
My mom bought me and my brother clippers when I was 13 years old. I've been cutting my hair since then. I think I went to the barber. Matter of fact, I went to the barber on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
To get my hair twisted.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the barbershop. It wasn't in a saloon or nothing a salon or nothing like that. It was in the barbershop. I do my own hair. I cut my hair before I even walked in there. Faded it, lined it up, did whatever I was going to do. I did that shit before I went there. I didn't want to do it after. I did it before. And everybody's like, well, damn, you didn't wash your hair? I've been cutting my hair since I was 13. Of course I washed my fucking hair. I didn't wash my dreads, but I washed the sides of my hair. And guess what happened when I went to the damn barbershop and got my hair twisted?
She
washed my damn hair.
And reset it.
So, go ahead with your judgment. Anyway, why I felt like I needed to over-explain myself. Just because I prepare for people to say negative bullshit, but because that's what they're going to do anyway. But anyway.
Yeah.
But that's the theory. When you're a parent, it's not about control. It's about knowing where your child's placement is on the taking care of their hygiene goes. You would know. You're their parent.
Yeah.
Do you have to repeat yourself 5 times to go take a bath? Yes, you do. Why the fuck would you let their hair grow the fuck out?
Almost naturally have to tell them.
Because they're going to come to you.
5 times.
They're going to come to you to have you put it in one of those buns.
Right, exactly. Exactly. And, and for the listening audience, that's just kind of an example that I dealt with my children who are biracial growing up, is having to, assist them until they got to an age where they could control and do their own hygiene and take care of their own hair and all that kind of stuff. So just throwing that out there.
I mean, even with that being said, even if you said, okay, I want to grow my hair out and everything else, your parents are still going to be like, you still need to be presentable.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, well, can I have the money to get my hair cut? Yeah, you can have the money to get your hair cut, but this is how you're getting your hair cut. And the reason why is, and people say, oh, it's control. They've been controlling me for years. No. It's because you are still the age that you are.
Right.
You're not about to get a grown man haircut at 16, Timothy. Sit your punk ass down. I will put your ass in a closet and take the door off, and that'll be your bedroom, bitch. You're not going to tell me what you're going to get done to your hair. However, when you want your hair done in a certain style, we can negotiate. We can have a conversation, but don't get it twisted. You're not going to tell me how you're going to get your shit done, because what's going to happen is if I allow you to get your hair cut in a certain, hairstyle, and you ain't producing what you need to be producing, like good grades, washing your ass, not bringing no grandkids in the house. Mm. You do any of that shit, I guarantee you, by the time you wake up, you're gonna feel like you went to Marine boot camp. You're gonna feel it. The first thing you're gonna wake up, your hair that you used to be on your head gonna be on that damn pillow in the same hairstyle it was before you went to sleep. That's how it's gonna be in that pillow. And you done slept in it all night. It's a memory now, a dream. It's so just for the listening audience.
Yeah.
For those that's listening on Spreaker, I know ain't nobody watching me on Facebook. And I know ain't nobody watching me on YouTube.
I know.
Because YouTube didn't shut me the hell off, which is a bilateral link to my YouTube. And typically when typically when Facebook knocks me off, the YouTube will still ride. The YouTube never even took off flight. So Facebook was my total thing, and it does that from time to time, and it doesn't bother me. This is the problem that bothers me. It just completely just dropped.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I even continuously dealing with social media? So that's the things that kind of distract me, and I had to have Connie go into it so I could dealt with it in the background to see what happened. And then when I realized what happened, I had to do some customer service maintenance within the platform of people that watch the video so they know where to go to catch the audio, and then do a post so people can know where to do the audio. So anyway, as I play cleanup, because I'm always playing baseball up here, y'all. It's the ninth inning at this point.
Right.
And the bases are loaded.
I was just going to say bases are loaded.
And we down by 2. So, well, actually, we down by 3. And the tying run is at the plate. And the bases are loaded.
About the RBI?
Oh, by the way, it's, I don't know. We'll say it's 2-2. It's 2-2. Oh, and 2 outs. So this is, let y'all know the placement of the fucking podcast right now. So
2-2.
Anyway, so yeah, I know. So I've come to the understanding as we wrap this conversation up, because I don't want to get too long-winded into this. Oh, by the way, there will not be a podcast on Saturday.
No.
There will be one next Tuesday. I'm sorry I didn't do one last Saturday. I forgot. It's on my calendar as an alarm and everything, and I completely ignored it. I'm sorry. I was watching college football and was kind of happy and just chilling, and the time came up and I overchilled.
It went.
I overchilled because I didn't pay attention. I didn't even look at my watch.
And as co-host, I was not proactive in saying, hey, it's time to do a podcast.
Saturday was just a chill day, believe it or not, because the temperature, the weather had went down, and it wasn't as hot, so it was like one of the most comfortable days ever, and it was really just a chill day. So anyway,
right,
we will do another podcast on next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But to wrap this up, as always, it's always my opinion. I think that this is just one example of what we should do as parents. If we have school-born children or if we have school-born grandchildren, we need to find out, one, like if it's a public school, understand what their rules and everything is within that public school.
Yep.
Know the benefits, know what requirements you have to have, blah, blah, blah. If you decide to put your kid in an independent or a private school, do your research.
Oh, absolutely.
Do your research. Yeah, you can hear from 1,001 people that this one school is great, or I put my kids in this and this is best, blah, 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 and I'll let you talk to so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. Do that. But also do your research and look at other schools.
Yeah.
Because we don't always we don't always have to. Yeah, no doubt. We don't always have to put ourselves in a position like everybody else. It's like keeping up with the Joneses. However,
Right.
if somebody is strongly suggesting this school because of whatever, then do your research and then ask them those questions that you're going to ask the school anyway.
Yep.
Because they should know the answers. If their kid is in the school, they should know the answers to the questions that you're about to ask the school.
Especially if their child has been in that school for a long term.
Doesn't matter if it's long term. It could be 1 year. They should still know. Because to me, if you're just putting your kid in a school
Put them there
as a paid babysitter, if you put them there like in private, I know for a fact people that put their kid in private schools or even independent schools don't think about this. But if you putting your kid in school as a babysitter and you don't even know the rules, what they doing in school, how their grades are or whatever, then this conversation is for you. This is not for you.
Yeah.
But if you understand, know everything else and are okay where your kid placement is in the school, do you know everything that school has to offer, and is your kid accessing those options or those benefits?
I was just about to say benefits.
If you're putting your kid in an independent school and a private school, the same thing applies because you're paying for it.
Exactly. I was just about to say your tuition is paying for all those benefits and all those things to be taking place.
Absolutely.
So you need to know what you're paying for.
Right.
Because if you don't, that's your fault.
It really is. I mean, at this point, it really is. This is just me. It gets to a point where it's not even a conversation at this point. It's more so just like you're just dropping them off.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, that's a lot of the problem that's going on in the world today. People are sending their kids off, dropping them off, and not giving a shit what happens at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's not even about where you're dropping your kids off at. Are they being educated? Are they in a safe environment? Do they like where they're at? And 9 times out of 10, you could tell based off of the schoolwork they're doing or the avoidance of conversation, if they're having conversations with you, things of that nature. It's like you got to pay attention to that. So anyway, we about to wrap it up, get off of here, y'all. But I wanted to bring that topic up and talk about it and make people aware of the situation that's going on, because the kid is suspended currently. The parents have reached out and gotten a lawyer. The lawyer is deeply involved with the situation. And as more comes about, I will probably do a post on it in reference to just this podcast, as well as any other further details that may come out. And we can have a further discussion in the group on Facebook, or if enough information comes out, I might spark up another podcast and call it episode 2.
Right.
So I think, no doubt, sis, no doubt. So with that, y'all, I hope that this podcast was entertaining as well as informational. It was something different than I normally do, but I felt like it was something that needed to be done in light of everything that's going on and the limited things that people talk about. A lot of people want to talk about the drama in the streets and stuff, and people breaking up, and Jeezy put his divorce papers in from his wife because they don't have the same ideas with raising a family, and it's like people are paying attention to that. Like they're in their relationship. Like tomorrow, they're gonna call Jeezy and be like, "Hey, bro, you want a place to sleep or need some time away?"
Yeah.
Ain't none of y'all got his phone number.
And that's like the Blueface.
The Blueface,
and Krishan,
the Blueface, Krishan, and the baby. It's like all these celebrities.
Lord.
I mean, you got Kim Kardashian's son flipping off paparazzi.
That's just funny to me. I'm sorry.
Funny to me too.
That's funny to me.
That's funny as hell.
Same West gone, bro.
But I think that it's weird how people react to a lot more of what celebrities are doing instead of reacting to what's currently going on in our own backyard. But I'm gonna leave it alone. But anyway, you got anything for the people before we get up out of here?
thanks for tapping in and tuning in with us as always. Make sure you're checking in not only for yourself and with yourself, but make sure you check in on your people. Check in with those that you haven't spoken to in a while. Just, tap in and let them know that they're appreciated, they are loved, and you're there for them. You may not have spoken to them in a while, but you're still there. At any rate, I'm out. Thanks. Peace.
So I exactly. I don't care what celebrities are doing. Yeah, exactly. No, I don't care. I think, in my opinion, that this has been one of those. This has been one of those podcasts that I'm sure there'll be a follow-on conversation. But I know that in that follow-up conversation and more information that comes out, I want to try to provide enough info so that this is not about commenting or what is that word that people like to use? Clout chasing or anything else like that. It's not even about that. This is about something that has been going on, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And unfortunately, it's happening to another African American, where we start to see how laws are written
right
against our own kids and getting the education that they want us to go through. And then they pay a tuition for that.
Right.
So
the disparities are so prevalent. So prevalent.
So with that being said, y'all, love y'all to life. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. We see y'all next Tuesday on That's What I Said, and we out. Peace.
That's What He Said with Cedric D. Sanders.
Thanks for listening to another episode of That's What I Said with Cedric Sanders. Make sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode.
That's What He Said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
Bitch, what?